everyone, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be checking out the new Blade alongside Acheron. I'm super excited for this as Acheron is one of my favorite characters, so I'm very happy she has a new teammate. And before we get into today's video, I'd love to know who you are pulling between version 4.3 or even 4.4 if you're saving for that patch instead. Lastly, if you'd like to see some more content from me, consider subscribing to the channel, leave a like to support today's video, and now let's get straight into it. For our first team we're going to try out today, it'll be Acheron, Blade, Tribi, and Hyacinth. And with Blade right here, he is going to be so useful for being able to get more and more ultimate stacks for Acheron, which we'll be able to see this in action very soon. Hyacinth here, I am just going to use her skill so we get enough energy to use her ultimate, and now little Ika will also be attacking enemies, which will be useful for getting more energy for Tribi, as well as being useful for Blade here in a moment. And we will get attacked here so we can now use his ultimate, and now we are in the infinite fury state, and now there is a zone on the field, which also if we take a look at this enemy right here, they have the Balefire bind state, which decreases their defense and also increases the damage that they take. So Acheron can take advantage of this here, and boom, there we go. And as you can see right above Blade's HP bar, he's going to be able to get these charges every time an ally attacks enemies or when Blade himself gets attacked. So as a result, if you have frequent attackers on the team, this will allow Blade to get more and more charges, and once Blade reaches 9 charges, he'll unleash a skill like so, and that skill will also be considered a follow-up attack. And as we can see, as we're consistently applying the Balefire bind state onto these enemies with Blade's kits right here, that is not only giving charges to Blade, but it's also giving charges to Acheron every time we attack enemies or when enemies attack Blade. So boom, there we go. And we're already at 7 out of 9 stacks for Blade once again. Tribi will come in. Now little Ika will bam. And now with Acheron, we have another ultimate here before this cycle ends. And boom, there we go. Tribi follow up, and now Blade will attack like so, and we are moving on to the next wave here. So with Hyacinth, we could just basic attack, and with Hyacinth, I am using my basic attack pretty often throughout this showcase, as Hyacinth will attack herself, and then little Ika will also attack these enemies, resulting in 2 charges for Blade and 2 stacks for Acheron. Now with Tribi here, I could just use her ultimate, there we go, and with Acheron, we have another ultimate ready to go, and bam, there we go. Tribi follow up once again, and we're just getting more and more stacks here for Blade. If we also take a look at the turn order to the left, we can see when the infinite fury state will end. In the case of this, I would recommend having an ultimate ready to go so that you are able to re-enter the state immediately. Now with Blade here, we'll attack once again, and with Blade, I'll use his ultimate. Now we're just working towards getting Blade more charges so that he can unleash another skill. And whenever Blade does reach 9 out of 9 charges and unleashes his skill, he'll also be able to gain back energy as well, resulting in us being able to use our ultimate frequently within the fight. And there we go. Now with Tribi, we can just use her ultimate and Blade will unleash that skill once again. And now we have enough energy. But once we exit the infinite fury state, we'll be able to immediately go back in, which we'll be able to see this in a moment here. All right, we're on to phase 2 of the HP bar as well. Basic attack with Hyacinth, another attack here from little Ika. We're getting more charge for Blade as well as more stacks for Acheron. And now we can immediately go right back into the infinite fury state, and now we're continuing to get more charges for Blade and taking advantage of the buffs from his zone as well. And boom, there we go. Another attack there from Blade as well. Now with Blade, I can just skill. We do have his ultimate once again, and with Hyacinth, another basic attack, and little Ika will attack as well. So overall, this team is going to be able to just get so many charges for Blade as well as so many stacks for Acheron's ultimate, especially with how frequently the characters on this team can attack. For example, Tribi has her follow-ups, Hyacinth of course has her basic attack, and then she also has little Ika attacking as well. And boom, there we go. Now the Tribi follow up once again, and Blade will also unleash his ultimate right here. And bam! 1.3 million damage right there. And now his skill. And with Hyacinth right here, we are going to be able to get another charge. There we go. We also got Acheron's ultimate, so we could just use Hyacinth's ultimate right here. Tribi will come in with the follow-up. Now little Eco will attack like so, and we are going to be able to get enough points of charge to use another blade skill, but Acheron should be able to finish this off, and there we go. So we were able to get a 1 cycle clear, and today I am also using an E0S0 Acheron and E0S0 Blade. Alright, now I want to try out Ashveil with this team right here, as Ashveil will be able to debuff enemies, inflict frequent follow-up attacks, and overall can work nicely with Blade here. So we're going to have damage output coming from Blade, Ashveil, Acheron, and also Hyacinth herself. Now in the case of Hyacinth, you can absolutely use a different sustain, but for today I just wanted to show off Hyacinth and little Ika being able to attack frequently. And here we're also about to get Blade's ultimate, so right away we are going to use it just so we can enter the Infinite Fury state. And with Acheron right here, we'll use her ultimate, and boom, there we go. Ashveil will also unleash his follow-up, and now with Ashveil in the moment here, I can use his skill and then immediately use his ultimate once again. We're gonna be able to deal a nice amount of damage here with Ashveil, and also of course deal damage with Acheron as well as Blade. Right, there we go, another follow-up, and now another Acheron ultimate ready to go, and bam! Now Ashveil will attack again, and now Blade will attack, and now Ashveil will attack once again. So we're just gonna have some back-to-back attacks here, especially when we do use Ashveil's ultimate. We're getting really close to 9 out of 9 points of charge here for Blade, which is awesome. With Ashveil, I can just skill once again. Blade will come in with the skill, and with Hyacinth, I can just basic attack, bam! And now with Acheron, I can just attack this enemy like so with her ultimate. Now with Ashveil, we'll just use our ultimate, and it's also worth noting that Blade can hold up to 80 excess energy. Right now, Blade is holding on to 67 energy, and whenever he unleashes his skill from having 9 points of charge or more, he will be able to regenerate additional energy. Since we're already at 67 though, I am going to use his ultimate right here just so we don't waste any additional energy. And with Acheron, I will also use her ultimate here in a moment, as I don't want to waste potential stacks that I can get for her ultimate. Alright, there we go. And now with Hyacinth, we could just basic attack, little Eco will come in once again, and we will get attacked here, which is great as that is more stacks for Blade. With Blade right here, another ultimate, bam, 9 stacks and another skill. And with Acheron, we already have another ultimate ready to go, so we can take advantage of that, get rid of some of these clones right here. And with Blade, bam! So now the clones are gone, and with Ashveil, I am going to be able to use his ultimate here on Flame Raver, and we're going to be able to get Acheron as well as Blade a bunch of stacks. So we can just attack like so, and now another Ashveil attack, another stack for Acheron, as well as another charge for Blade, and there we go. And there goes little Ika, another follow-up, and boom! And now with Acheron, we have enough stacks for her ultimate once again. Now with Blade, I am just going to use his ultimate, and bam! And we are about to unleash another skill right here. 2 back-to-back skills. And now with Ashveil, what we could do is just use his skill as well. And we already have another Acheron ultimate ready to go. Alright, little Eco will come in. Now with Ashveil here, I can just use his ultimate. And now we're just going to attack multiple clones right here. Alright, with Acheron, I am just going to use her ultimate as we do have enough stacks. And boom! Alright, another Ashveil follow-up. We're also about to have, yep, there's the Blade skill. And now with Hyacinth right here, I am just going to use her ultimate so we can attack these enemies some more. So there we go. Ashveil. And now with Acheron, another ultimate ready to go. And bam! And with Blade, I have his ultimate so we can immediately re-enter the Infinite Fury state. And you want to try to make sure that you have Blade's ultimate active at all times so that you're able to take advantage of the benefits of his zone. Alright, now another attack here with Blade. I can also use Blade's ultimate here, which will get us enough energy for Ashveil's ultimate. So there we go, and we also have the Acheron ultimate ready to go once again. With Ashveil, I can just skill. Acheron can just use her ultimate as we do have enough stacks ready to go. And boom! Another follow-up from Ashveil. And now we'll have another follow-up like so, and Blade will also skill. There's just so many back-to-back attacks. I absolutely love it. Alright, Acheron time. Let's just use this ultimate right here. This should kill. Boom! What? 1%? There's no way there's 1%. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's okay. I said you'll kill, right? Okay, there we go. And for this current team, once again, E0S0 Acheron and E0S0 Blade. Which if we take a look at the builds for today, here is my Acheron. He has good night, sleep well. Of course, if you have her signature though, you could definitely expect even better results. Traces maxed out. Relics, we are just using Izamo and Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters, and for her Eidolons, she is also E0. Alright, now we have Blade. We are using Before Tutorial Mission Begins, which is a completely free-to-play light cone, but of course you can use alternatives such as the signature, you can use Cypher's light cone, Holiday Escapade, and so on. For his traces, they're maxed out. For his relics, we're using Bone Collection, and then the new Master Smith set, which will increase his max HP and also increase the wearer's crit damage dealt to enemy targets in the defense reduction state by 28%. And after the wearer inflicts a defense reduction state on an enemy target, all allies will gain a buff for 2 turns, and this buff will increase the damage dealt by allies by 15%, which Blade will be able to decrease enemies' defenses with the Balefire Bind state, and you can do this from his ultimate or whenever an enemy attacks Blade, or when allies attack enemies as well. As when the zone is active, after every attack an ally target uses on an enemy, it'll inflict the Balefire Bind state to that corresponding enemy, and also gain Blade 1 charge. And this also applies to Blade being attacked himself. As for his Eidolons, he is E0. As for Ashveil, here he is. City of Converging Stars and Ash Blazing Grand Duke. And then also E0. As for Hyacinth, here she is. Traces maxed out. Relics, Giant Tree, and Warrior Gods, Sun and Thunder, and Eidolons also E0. And as for Triby, here she is. Relics, we're using Bone Collection and Poet of Morning Collapse, and then for her Eidolon, she is E0. And overall, I'm very happy with what Blade is going to be able to provide for Acheron. Blade is going to make it so that she is able to get frequent stacks for her ultimate, and Blade himself can also deal a nice amount of damage alongside her. Blade is going to be able to reduce enemies' defenses, increase the damage they receive with the Balefire Bind state, and additionally when his zone is active, allies will also deal 50% increased damage, and if there are other Nihility characters aside from Blade in the team, the ultimate damage dealt by allies will also increase by 75%. So Acheron, being another Nihility character, will be able to take advantage of this additional boost to her ultimate. Overall, Blade is an excellent choice for Acheron, and I would highly recommend him if you are an Acheron main, or if you would like to nicely improve your Acheron team. I'd love to know if you'll be pulling for Blade or if you'll be saving for someone else, either in version 4.3 or 4.4. Lastly, if you did enjoy this video, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support today's video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.